Hello, everybody. This is Chad from the SoundFlow team, and I'm going to do another live coding video today. Today, we're going to help out Juan on the forum. So Juan's asking how to set a text field in the Pro Tools quantize window. So he's saying it's not changing the text field to the desired value. And after some clarification, we learned he's trying to set this strength text field here. So he said, I'm trying to get the strength text field to change. Great. Okay, so when I was starting out with SoundFlow, I, would go to add an action and I would go set value text, and I'm presented with these two options here. So it's a set value of text area and a set value of text field with text area. And that's, somewhat confused. I mean, I even still get confused to this day. So let's just talk about it for a minute. So set value of a text area. I asked Claude to give us a quick rundown. So according to Claude, a text field is a single line input field, and a text area is a multi-line input field. So you can think of a single line input field maybe as the bounce dialog. So this is the single line input field. This would be an input field as well. Whereas the text area is a multi-line text input field. So an example of that would be something like text edit here. So this can have multiple lines like this. And that is more of a text area where you can have line breaks and longer content. So it says it can accept and display paragraphs with line breaks. Cool. So my biggest question then is just like, okay, so there are some things that are text areas and Pro Tools, right? I mean, like the comment section, you can kind of brute force having, multiple lines, but you can see even there, it doesn't actually show as a text area. Once you hit enter, it kind of gets condensed and all of that. But yeah, so let's try using set value of text area to pick the comments area here. And you'll notice, okay, first things first, we get this path that says first text field with like the value of that. It's actually kind of got the name plus the value of that. It might be the description. I'm not sure how it's actually showing, where this option's showing the value and this one's just first text field. So this is the first lesson. So you can change the path of any selected UI element by just clicking on the individual elements here. And sometimes you have multiple options that can make it a more generic call. So in this instance, we want to always just select the first text field. Now, we'll notice this says text field. So if I try to do a comment here, and I'm going to use Control X to try to change it for us, it just doesn't do anything. So even if I remove that text, it's just not adding that text for us because we're trying to set a text field with a call that's set up a text area. So this will work if I pick the body of this, text edit document here. You'll notice it says first text area. So that's great. But it also is currently extremely specific to the specific text area that has this gobbledygook text in it. So we want to select the generic version of that, the first text area. And now if I run this macro, then it sets the text area there. So that's great. Okay, so text fields, let's get into that. We're going to delete this action and do set value of text field. That's the one we want. And we're going to try, well, we'll go after the one that we told Juan that we would help him with. So we are going after this strength parameter here for the quantize window. And if I now go back to SoundFlow and use the pick action, I can hop back to Pro Tools, select that text field, and now we have this path to the first AX window and the second text field that says 100. So again, like we don't actually want this to only be looking at the one called 100 because that's actually going to change hopefully pretty soon. So we're going to do this, which is still not extremely specific. Like it would be amazing if it had a name that was actually related to strength, but currently we only have the like numbered it's the fourth text field that appears on this window here. So that's still great. We can, enter a new value. Let's say we want it to be 50, more likely like 85% maybe. And let's try setting that. So I'm just going to kind of do this. If I run this, you'll notice nothing's happening. So I'm probably running into the same issue that Juan was running into. And the reason is a lot of these text fields have to be engaged first with some kind of mouse or keyboard simulation. And so what we can do is a lot of the actions within the macro editor can be edited further with these advanced properties. So if I do that, you'll notice that I actually have the option to use mouse and keyboard simulation. So now if I do this, it's going to change it to 85, which is great. And I can do it again to change it to 50. And again, if I had left it as the default, so first text field 50, it will work for the first time I run it, I believe. Yep. But then if I try to set it back to 50 again, it's not going to find that because that text field no longer is of value 50. So we're going to change this back to more generic, run command. That's how we get around it. So that's great. Going back to the beginning, we actually do need to use keyboard and mouse simulation for the comments field and Pro Tools as well. So if I go to this comments field, I can say this is a comment from Chad. And we're just going to run this macro, and there we go. But if I were to say, delete the comment, and I don't have mouse keyboard simulation on, it's actually not able to find this text area. And even, well, it may, yeah, so even if you have it selected, you still need to have that mouse and keyboard simulation on for it to work. So, and we're also running into the same thing where first text field needs to be more generic. So lots of good content there. Yes, cool. So I hope that makes sense. And if you have other questions about text fields and text areas, let us know. This is, we don't love to use the mouse and keyboard simulation. Like we'd prefer to just be able to set everything, but the ability to set a text field is actually, a permission granted by the application that we're controlling. So we would need like explicit permission from the application to be able to set that text field without using this mouse and keyboard simulation, which we don't always have. So anyway, in those instances, we have the advanced properties. It's in there. You can change your paths to be more generic. That's really helpful. And then if you're trying to use this in part of a bigger script, you can either convert to script or use copy as JavaScript. So then now if I have my script, I can just paste this in with value. And then of course we can use mouse and keyboard as our modifier here to say that we need to use keyboard and mouse simulation for this text field. So, all right, text areas, text fields. I hope that makes sense. Have a good day.